Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, broads, dames, and bros, welcome to the Midnight Drive with your old three-armed host, your pal, TikitheHutt. How is it going tonight? I see we got some people in the chat already. Awesome, always good to see. And we even have a poll. Feel free to take a swing at it. No wrong answers, you know? Let me know what you think. Up on the docket today, we're planning on finishing our neophyte leader we worked on yesterday, the one that kind of looks a little Ghost in the Shelly. We're gonna work a little bit on the Hellhound. We're gonna finish this Hellhound, and then maybe we'll do a little bit more building. So maybe we'll kit bash some Cadian Castellans, or at least my version of them. But with that being said, I'd like to know what you guys are working on tonight. What are you doing? Anything you're painting on, anything you're building on, or are you stuck at work, or are you stuck on a drive? Let me know how you're spending the Midnight Drive. Oh, nice. Good to see you the night off, Jenny. That's awesome. Hey, RK, what's going on, buddy? All right. Let us get painting. What I worked on today before the stream, I actually did a little bit of terrain. I got these nice little like $10 buildings from Amazon. I think it's like that Ender toy things or whatever. They're not very fancy at all, you know, very like plain Jane, but I sprayed them up. So I spray primered them, and then I hit them with a textured. I'm gonna do a whole post about it, show it like step by step. But they were plain plastic. I spray primered them to make the paint stick. Then I hit them with a textured spray paint, and then I dabbed the walls with cheaper apple barrel paint and like really cheap makeup sponges. And then I went in and picked out the details, like the rain gutter, the bars on the windows, the wood, and stuff like that. So. Alright, let's get started. There's always lots to paint, lots to catch up on. We're on the road to 2000. Alright, so this is kind of where we left off. We need to finish up the weapon, some of the jewelry, the melee weapon, and the hair. And then, of course, base it. Alright. No better way to start the night with a little bit of lead belcher. Curious to see what you guys are thinking about in the poll. So far, having a good opponent is in the lead. So in case you're on your phone and you can't see what the poll is, or in case you're just listening to it, which is fine too. The poll is what makes you enjoy. I can already tell I put a typo in there. It's funny. What makes you enjoy a game of Warhammer 40k the most? And the options are: you have hold on. You have a good opponent, an amazing table or map layout, fun mission and cool rules, or well-designed and painted minis. They're all good answers, so I'm kind of curious what you guys can value more. What I am excited about doing, I was thinking about it. I know I still have a few Comic 47 models to catch up on for first edition, but I think I'll do the same for the Genestealer Cult as far as like putting out like a 1-minute short, just covering the lore, like not talking about what abilities it has, because Lord knows that changes every 5 minutes, you know? So I think I'll just do like an actual, a little 1-minute short on each one, just kind of covering the lore. I think that might be kind of neat. take phrases from like each of the different rule books. I'm gonna pull him out as an example. Okay, yeah, so those are different types, but it should still be similar enough. Oh, I knocked him off. The Cold Thunder Hive. Boxcast. Also, I don't think there's enough GSE players to actually have like a podcast or anything. There's a couple. But I think what you're finding nowadays, and there's nothing negative about it, you know, again, match play is match play, and it's the dominant mode, and that's okay. But I think because the match play is the dominant mode, and because I don't know, I think the way people play 40K has changed a little bit over the years. I think there's a lot fewer, and again, it's a very skewed point of perspective. I'm trying to like say all I kind of like front load this a little bit. It's very skewed because you can only go off what you see, and what you see usually is what you see in your local area, and then what you see on YouTube. And those are two entire, like in a Venn diagram, those circles barely touch, right? So you see your local area, and you see, you know, who is most popular on YouTube. Unless you live in the UK, those are probably two wildly separate things, right? So with that being said, based upon my local area and what I see online, I don't see too many people that are like ride or die for one faction. I say this as a guy who like jumped to the Orcs and then jumped to GSE, you know? And I used to be guard, so I get it. It's a bit of a hypocritical statement, I guess. But I liked guard. I don't want to do guard again. I was trying to find an army. I don't know if that sounds like I'm making an excuse or not, but I plan on being a ride or die guy. Kind of like how I've been a staunch Empire of Japan player for Bolt Action and Conflict 47 for several years now, actually. I plan on being the same for but I assault like once per game. Yeah, they try to say that too, and I've learned to kind of get in there and fight a little bit too. Yeah, how was your tray? Looked awesome. Was your event today, RK, or is it tomorrow? I apologize if you already told me. Your Italians look pimp, dude. They absolutely win the drip war. Like, if this is a war of just parades and just the drippiest drip, your paisanos there in the desert would have won. Okay, so it's tomorrow. Nice. Bolt action. So bolt action's another one. And bolt action's kind of hard to be a ride or die of one faction, only because, and I love bolt action. Please don't take this the wrong way. Bolt action's a small scale game, and what I mean by that is I've tried to scale it up. It doesn't work very well, right? So it's meant to be played at the reinforced platoon or company level, you know. So it's kind of like when you're looking at games like shit, what are they called in AOS? Not Warcry. It's like Combat Patrol but for AOS. I can't think of the name of it, but it's actually a little bit better than Combat Patrol because people actually like it. But the reason being is the armies are not reasonably priced, but it's a set price point. You buy an army, you build those models, and you field that army. So if you want to play something different, you know, you just buy another one. It's kind of, well, another good example before I go into that one. It's kind of like Kill Team. You know, like, hey, we're like, hey, I have Kill Team, like I have a box of Extraction Squad. Like, I'm not an Imperial Agents Ride or Die guy. I'm not an Arbites. I don't have an Arbite army. But, you know, if I want to play something different, let's say I want to, like, try Kroot. I can just buy a Combat Patrol of Kroot. It's easy to jump army to army when it's a smaller army to play. And even though we're playing at 2,000 points, definitely go back and look at some older bat reps. I'm talking from like 8th edition, 7th edition, 6th edition, even going back to 4th edition. Armies used to kind of look a little bit more like armies. Now it's kind of like Hero Hammer and your entourage versus their Hero Hammer and entourage and biggity bobbity boop, you know. Nothing wrong with it, but and I think with that it's a little easier to kind of jump armies. But also, that being said, there's nothing wrong with jumping armies. I know I feel like a politician. It's like I'm saying everything but saying nothing at the same time. I mean, this is your money, your time. Play how you want, you know, or collect what you want. But the problem is, it's not even a problem. But what I say is, people say they want to see like old Hammer, or they'll say like, "Hey, GW is ruining the game. They're not doing things like they used to. They're making this overpowered, doing that." But these are the same people who are also jumping armies too. So it's like they want everybody else to play Warhammer like it used to be. They want everybody else to be chill. A good example, I think it was Paul's Bad at Stuff was talking about this. There's a difference between people who say they want to play narrative and say they want narrative play, and people who actually play narrative. It's like those are two separate things, you know? So I think that's kind of what it is. I think people lament what Warhammer 40k used to be in like old or mid Hammer, but at the same point in time, they're also the first ones to check out the new leak of this possible codex coming up, freak out about how overpowered this thing is, and then start building a list around it. There's nothing wrong with that. There, again, no drama. Hey, you do you, boo. But it's one of those things where, because I love narrative 40k, those who play with me know how much I like narrative games. So it's something I've seen. A lot of people are like, "Hey, can you come to the shop? Hey, can you run a narrative thing? Hey, can you run a narrative thing?" So I'm talking to him in the Discord. I'm like, "Okay, what about this, this, and that?" One guy's like, "Well, I want to bring this." Well, you know, you can't do that because that's going to affect this, and my army's built around this. I was like, it sounds like you want the best of narrative, but also all of the wombo mambo combos that you get with match play, and you want to put those together. And I think that's why a lot of Crusades fell apart. It's not just the paperwork, which is all beast, but it's also people just kind of can't help but min-max a little bit. You know, that's just because they're naturally competitive. It's a war game. It makes sense. So that's something I've seen, and so that's my question. Do you lean more towards narrative play, or do you like the idea of narrative play? There's nothing wrong. There's no shame, you know. It's just something to kind of ask and think to yourself. But I'm only saying that because it's something I was working on today, where I was trying to some people wanted to do a narrative game, and I was in the Discord chatting about it. How would you describe the second Battle of Malta in the narrative scale of things? I would say that was a narrative game, especially because we limited a lot of the stuff we brought. As far as like, you know, me and Irish were airborne, so we only brought stuff that we could drop out of a transport plane, and that's nowhere in any rule. So I'd say that was narrative, really cool, and there was a slight competitive edge to it, you know. But I think Trooper was more competitive than any of the rest of us. Berlin was. So the Battle of Berlin, which I almost like, we never talk about Berlin, but I feel like we talk about it every stream. But Berlin felt like Horde mode on easy mode, but you know, we were the Horde and we weren't told that, you know. So it's like they got to be all pre-positioned and have all their stuff set up, and we just had to keep like running into a meat grinder. But yeah, Malta, both the Malta games were pretty narrative because we had like self-imposed limitations. We did the airdrop dice roll, which was hysterical. We and that killed. I think that killed half of my paratroopers. Was just dropping on, doing a night drop onto Malta. We limited ourselves off what we could actually bring in, you know, per plane. Same thing in the first game. We limited on what we could sneak in like a tramp steamer kind of ship. So I think all we had was like one armored car and like some AA truck guns, some AA guns on a truck, and that was it. But, and I always remember this conversation I had with Squick Hunter Sean, is some people, like, this is what they spend their money on and their time on, and there's already limitations. They don't want more limitations, and I can appreciate that too, because it's how when I try and like do like, hey, let's keep it to what we could do in this, and people just start hearing limitations like, hey, I bought and played this stuff, but you're telling me I can't play with these toys. And I'm not telling them they can't play with their toys. I'm saying if they want to play in this particular event, then there's limitations, and I think that's a fine line. At the same point in time, I always try and keep that in mind, because it's how you feel with like Legends. It's like, oh cool, I built this whole army. It's like, hey, there's been a points change. Now you can't fit all that stuff in 2K. Plus that model you're like got Legends, and you're like, fuck. So I try to avoid being in a place where I can tell people like what they can and can't take. I generally don't like that, you know, especially we're all grown adults. But I think it's something that a lot of people, including myself, kind of struggle with, is when you try and run a narrative event, how do you keep it on the narrow path? You can have the best of intentions, and that leads to, maybe Berlin had the best of intentions, and that led to not a fun day. Well, and that's also my thing. So I'm on the side where, hey, we're either playing for fun and narrative, in which case, hey, let's kind of chit chat and talk about what we're doing, or we're playing match play. Now, if on the rare times I do play match play, or the rare times I'm playing like an actual competitive event, I don't know, I like to lean one side or the other. Of all the things in the world, it's like the only time I don't sit on the fence. Either like fluffy, chill, fun narrative play, or bring whatever sweaty list you want. It's competitive. You know, bring your multiple Bane blades with Ogrins, you know, like whatever list you got. As long as it's in the rules and it's legal, then yeah, by all means. Don't worry about like, oh, it's too stat checky for a competitive event. Like, it's either competitive or it's not. Like, did you pay for the model? Do you like the models? Did you have fun building and painting them? Is it something you want to run? Then run it, yeah. If it's a match play or a competitive event, and as long as you're following the rules, and you run whatever army you legally can, by all means. You don't owe anybody anything other than like just basic civility and respect, you know, of which they also owe you. You can run whatever list you want as long as it's in the rules. That's what the rules are for. But again, different strokes for folks. Some people don't agree with that, and that's totally understandable. Just like yeah, that's true. Okay, I've seen that. Was pretty fun. Like Clash of the Caribbean, you guys, I think you brought some Schwimmwagons, which probably aren't the most tactical transport, but they came in handy, and it matched the tropical theme, you know. Alright, we got the mag painted and the wood furniture on our auto pistol. We got her beat stick pretty well painted. Let's pick out her jewelry and do her hair. Alright. So I finally got to play some Helldivers. You know, in between working the stream, I played with my brother. It was actually a lot of fun. The new DLC is pretty good. The melt to mine is pretty nasty. Be deployed at a checkpoint, it's absolutely nasty. Well, that's also the funny thing too. So I don't know. I mean, someone's gonna see your list before they play it, so you don't have to like let people know what to bring necessarily. But also, I mean, you can friendly, and that's fine too. But I think that's also the point of naming your list too. So like, if I'm going up against Arcane is like, hey, this is my green vault, you know, heavy assault infantry. I was like, okay, when he calls them heavy assault infantry, I'm imagining straw trooping, you know, stormtroopers. Like, okay, cool, I get this. Whereas someone's like, hey, this is my armored spear list. I'm like, okay, armored spear, I get that. Tanks, probably mechanized infantry. Okay, cool, that makes sense. Now, I'm not saying you have to name your army by convention. No, I'm not trying to put that imposing on people, but that also kind of helps too, like explain your army. For instance, I call mine like the 58th Necromunda light armored recon. It's like, okay, they have light armor and they do reconnaissance. This position is reconnaissance, and I have, you know, like anywhere between, in a 2K list I have 3 hippogriffs, and in a 3K list I have 6 hippogriffs. So it's like, okay, I get that. He's going for the fluff. He has a lot of recon tanks. That makes sense. The barber at Tikiville. Ivan does surf, but no one could tell because it was in Russian. I like that. Yeah, I need to release all those the Conflict 47 funny songs and make videos out of them. I got a long list of things to do. I start my second quote-unquote job this week coming up, so I'll be super busy. I'll still be streaming, you know, same time, all that other kind of stuff. That's gonna affect that, but there's just so many things I want to do in so little time, but that's just the nature of it, you know? Oh my god, thank you. RK, yeah, I just realized I am muted. Wow. Been talking for like 10 minutes. I have no idea I had no idea when I muted, but I did. Oh man, I actually now I have no idea how long was I muted. Was I muted when I was talking about the Hive cult and the emblem and the icon? Let me know. I'll go back and I'll cover that. Oh, I was? Oh, damn. Okay, that's why I was showing that. Okay. What a fool of a took. Okay, so you see this icon? So all the different cults have... This is a similar spiral, the worm spiral, right? And all the different... the cults have different icons on this, basically. Like the cult of the Formed Emperor is going to look different than the Pauper Princess, and the Outlander Claw, the something helix. Wow, the name actually escapes me now. Twisted helix, there we go. And the Hive cult. So the Hive cult is the really cool one, I will say. So what makes the Hive cult so cool is cults is, you know, just like how, you know, people who believe in the false emperor, they carry like little necklaces with Aquilas and stuff like that. So all cultists usually carry some type of cult icon. So the Hive cult guys, what theirs is, if you look at the spiral, where the head is, that's actually purple, and the rest of it is stainless steel usually, or some type of metal. Because the purple is the handle, and the rest of it's actually a blade. It's like a karambit, or like a curved, almost like a mix between a karambit and brass knuckles. So it's like a curved kind of blade you hold in your hand a little bit, and they use it as their last resort or first resort fighting knife. Like when they sneak up and slit people's throats, kind of like how the Tanith are known for their straight silver. Hive cult are known for their cult icon knives. It's really cool. So like the icon they carry is actually a bladed weapon, and they like to, especially for like ceremonial and ritualistic stuff, that's what they like to start killing people with, is their actual icons. It's really, really cool. It's a cool little tidbit of lore about the Hive cult guys. Again, they're very martial, very military, very aggressive. Yeah, sorry I was muted for so long. I was sitting here, was like, to talking. Now I want to play Dark Heresy. Alright, now we got her painted. What we're going to do is we're going to base her hair white, and then we're going to hit it with that fluorescent green. Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry about that coughing. I didn't know I was muted for so long. Yeah, man, how you doing? Glad to see you in the channel. I never played Dark Heresy. It always looked interesting to me, especially as like a D&D player. It always looked cool, but I could never really find a group. That does sound interesting. Hey, Yeah, sorry about that, Jenny. So I was muted for a little while. I got 50 bucks right on you. I'm not gonna fight Matt Larkin. As you guys keep talking about Immorty in stream, I missed it again today because I had to work late. But I am excited to run that event in June in Indiana. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think that's what I'm gonna go for. I just want to go for like a hive war. I think that's a cool theme to go for. Simple, approachable. Anybody can really understand that, you know. All right, so talk to me. How'd this whole cheating thing happen? What do you do? Was it the whole gas skull in a battle wagon with an art case, or? Yeah, it's weird. They'll ban a guy, not both guys, by the way, which I thought was dumb. I thought they should have banned. If you're gonna ban one dude, they should have banned both dudes, right? But they banned a guy for fighting in a parking lot outside of the event. But when it comes to cheaters, they're like, okay, you know, you can't play for a year. Like, nah, the lifetime ban. See, I don't like this whole back kind of thing. Just, if you think someone's cheating, just call the TO. Be like, you know, check them once. And then the second time, I think people just, it's weird. People will play a war game, but they don't like confrontation. Just be like, hey, this doesn't seem right. I value my time. Let me call the TO over. You know, I'm like, hey, if I'm wrong, then you can take the time out of my side. I don't care. Because if you're right and you call the TO, you can get a ban right then and there. Be like, hey, kick rocks. And I hate this whole like, oh, sometimes they learn their lessons and they come back. These aren't children. Like, they're not like they're 12. Like, these are grown adults. No. Fucking lifetime ban. Go away. Go play TTS, you know? No, mine is just absolute. Like, if you get caught cheating, like, absolutely. It's kind of the same way with the classes I teach. You know, there's a zero policy, there's a zero policy, or zero tolerance policy, there you go, for cheating. And the way I explain that to the students is like, look, I'm not gonna, I'm not a cop anymore. I'm not gonna go around and police you, you know, but if I catch you, it's zeroed out instantly. And everybody in the department's going to know. I'm going to send an email with verified proof and let them know that, hey, you cheated on assignment. So every other teacher in this department is going to know that you cheated. And you're literally going to get labeled as a cheater. And no teacher's going to trust you in this department because of the choice you made. It sounds a little harsh. I was like, no, I'm not saying, hey, don't cheat or don't do this. That's up to you, you know, but I'm telling you, this is an easy class and it's not worth the risk of cheating, because if I catch you, you're hosed. So it's one of those things. I don't like to tell people don't cheat, you know, because what one person cheats, the other person wouldn't consider cheating. Like some people consider modeling for advantage cheating, or they keep misremembering a rule, or they keep messing up the measuring. You know, it's a very slippery slope on like what's soft cheating, what's this cheating. You know, loaded dice, of course, is heavy cheating. People are like, oh, I forgot I had a what was it? I forgot I had a Hellbrute in my pocket, you know. So it's what I call it is like, if you get caught, and that's what it is. Doesn't matter how small it is. If you get caught cheating on purpose, that's it. Done. Boom. Zeroed out. That way you let them know it's not worth it, even for the smallest stuff. Doesn't matter if it's loaded dice or, you know, purposely misquoting a rule when if they can prove malice. Or having a Hellbrute in your pocket, like, kick rocks. Yeah, to be fair, who doesn't have a Hellbrute in their pocket? Oh, I said, now, if you want to throw hands after the event, as long as it's not at the event and I'm not legally responsible, I don't care. You're grown adults. I don't think it's a good idea. I wouldn't trust people not to say they agree to a fight and then turn around and sue you a week later. You know, I don't have that kind of trust in society, but Cosmic at our event, we're gonna have Nerf guns. Any rules disputes, you're gonna do 10 paces, turn and shoot with a Nerf gun. My lawyer could beat up your lawyer, right? But to be fair, cheating, and this is a really good example, cheating isn't limited to only match or competitive play. Me and RK are always talking about the Berlin game. That guy purposely misquoted. He did a bunch of shady shit, but the one I caught him on was purposely misquoting a rule for his advantage at a narrative game. What an asshole. So it's not, and that's a good point to remember, because it's not just as much as we want to like dogpile on competitive or match play. It's the person. It's not the match type. And I'm guilty of that. Like when the whole 9-sider thing happened, I was like, hey, was that a match play event or a narrative event? But that could happen in either, to be fair. Even Malta had a couple of iffy moments. Yeah, so Malta did a couple of iffy moments, but none of us really knew the rules. And that's one thing I will say. Like, we were all trying to learn. I'll look back on, I think we got a couple rules wrong. Hey, Squidfist, what's going on, buddy? I know that was actually my first game of 3rd edition. Was that? I think it was. So I think the other Malta game was the end of 2nd edition. Cheat at Monopoly. What's going on, Squid? Hey, I hear the orcs are doing well, Squid Fist. How's that going for you? You excited to run your freebooters? Oh snap! You guys got a hurricane out there? Damn, I didn't know that. I wish you all the best, buddy. Let me know how it goes. Alright, let's do a little bit more white on her hair, and then we'll get ready and start hitting her with the fluorescent. So I'm actually really glad I decided not to take transports in my GSC army, because it looks like, I don't know, how do you guys feel about transports in 11th edition? Are they worth it? Is it worth risking the biscuit? All right. That's her hair white. Let me wash off my brush and we'll get ready with some neon green. I have a free Buddha orc. Again, I didn't know how to play my orcs. That's all I did was just run trucks and boys. So it was just fun tank shocking people with trucks, but I didn't know what I was doing. Again, that's how I felt. I know I said it last stream, but that's how I found out I wasn't an orc player. It felt unwieldy. It felt like you picked up a really good firearm that was calibrated for somebody else. You know what I mean? That's so. Whenever you do these exercises, a lot of times, like when, like, you know, exercise, when one of your buddies gets hit, you literally like you pick up their rifle, you pick them up, and you drag them to the CCP and stuff like that, you know. So what's funny is every now and then, like sometimes some of us would have to post with just the crew sword weapons. So like I'd be like a 240 gunner with a pistol, and you know it'd be like, hey, your vehicle's disabled and stuff like that, or your vehicle's been hit, get out of your vehicle, and you can't run up and grab the 240 because the vehicle's quote unquote on fire. So you're just like running around with a pistol. You're like, well, shit, and like somebody goes down, so you got to pick up their rifle. So it's something like Call of Duty gets wrong. Like every rifle you pick up, it's always like right-handed and it's got all this Gucci stuff. But no, you pick up a random person's rifle. When you arm up every day for duty, like you have no idea how much you just personalize stuff towards yourself. Like just the positioning of the foregrip, the angle of it, where you have your flashlight or your PEC 2 or PEC 15 set up, how you do your 68. Obviously your 0 on your irons. So it'd be weird you pick up someone else's M4, you're like, what the fuck is it just feels so wrong, everything feels different, so you're like running around with someone else's. I'm saying that feeling of running around with someone else's thing, or I guess a better example, non-military, would be like bowling. Like you have the ball you always bowl with, and you walk up to the machine, you pick up somebody else's bowling ball, it's like too heavy and it spins weird and stuff like that. So that's how I felt like when I was playing the Oryx. They looked cool, but it didn't fit. Put the forklift on top of the gun. Other people's gear. Yeah, OPG. Yeah, same thing with vests. Everyone's, we had some things that'd be uniform, like where your cat and your first aid kit and stuff like that is. And there's some like policies on like the best places to put your mags or reload. But other than that, everyone's gear was totally different. That's something I noticed. Like most police departments I see, like all their belts are completely standardized. Ours were just fucking like whatever you put wherever you preferred. It was wild. Yeah, they got sticky for no reason. Alright. Shaking up the fluorescent. Shaking up the fluorescent. So as you can tell in the Hellhound, we went silver. Almost like a beer can. So we went silver on the main tank, and then we went red on the auxiliary tanks. I kind of like the look of it. Yeah, the keg hounds. I like that. Oh yeah. Absolutely, cause especially like when we have like our vehicles kitted for a convoy, stuff goes in a certain spot. If it's not, like you start losing your mind. Like when you do changeover, be like, why is the AT4 all the way back there? That's not where the AT4 goes, Cosmic, you'd love it. At the school I teach at, downstairs from where I teach, is where they train the EMTs. They have this whole like cutaway simulator for the back of an ambulance where they can like load in the gurneys, and it even has a camera too, so you can record how they're doing all their stuff, so they can like play it back and watch it, look for like wasted momentum and stuff like that. And then my third thing, especially because I did a lot of time on the road and showing up to traffic crashes, they have an extraction trainer, which is really cool, so they can train extracting mannequins out of a vehicle and stuff like that, without having to like cut into destroyed cars that K-12 saws all the time or Jaws of Life. It's really cool. The EMT classroom is state of the art. It's super cool looking. I'll actually, Cosmic, I'll shoot you some pictures. I forgot I actually have some pictures. It does have the school name, so that's why I'm not going to post it on the internet. I'll post it to you, though. I trust you, so that way you kind of know where I'm teaching at. Yeah, right. You just have to get in rotation, actually use a real car. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. No, I actually helped teach not the paramedic side or the law enforcement side. I teach something completely different, so. But we're all on one campus. We know them pretty well, like the law enforcement, the fire, the EMT, the CSI, welding, plant ops. We're all on the same campus. So as far as like a quote unquote college, it's like the really cool people who actually work for a living. I'm painting it close just to put the first coat on, then I'll paint the rest of it on camera. It's a little bit easier, so you guys can see how it turns out. I don't think she had green hair in the movie or the comics, but it kind of reminds me of like Scott Pilgrim, like the whole pixie or manic pixie dream girl phase. Like 500 Days of Summer and that whole thing, you know? Alright, I'm gonna lower this down a little bit so you guys can get a better view. Right. We got about 4 to 5 more coats to do on there, but that's kind of what it's going to look like. So that's roughly her fully painted, minus the basing and the power weapon effects on the shock maul. There you go, now the camera focused. Alright, now let me catch up with the chat. Thanks, Cosmic. It should, Arcade. It really should. Like you should, you should just get like knockoff Ray-Bans on day one, you know, or some knockoff aviators. Yeah, it seems like a very like heavy female army. It's not. It's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be pretty split co-ed. I'd probably say like 30-70. It's just we're kind of painting them early on because I have a lot of these guys, or you can't really. Yeah, you can tell these are guys. And I have those push fit guardsmen. I'll be cutting the heads off and putting on male heads on. So I'll plan to mix in some models here and there. Keep it. I don't know, keep it cool looking. But I figured that's what's cool about Necromunda. They have all male gangs like the Goliaths, who are genetically engineered. They have all female gangs like the House Escher. Then you have like the Van Seer and the Orlocks, who can be co-ed. Yeah, not to give GW any ideas, but I've always thought that was funny when people were debating about female custodians. I was like, how can you not ever care about male House Escher? You know, where are all the guys in House Escher, you know? Or males in the Sisters of Battle other than the priests who are running it. Or Brothers of Silence, you know? Imagine a guy in House Escher and like the costumes they wear. It's hysterical. All right, let me let that dry for a second. There you go, Cosmic. I see those pictures. I think the ambulance bay simulator is kind of cool. Alright, we're just giving that a little bit of time to kind of dry. It seems like oil paint's becoming all the rage. I just saw Warfire Minis put out a good video about using oil paints. So those of you who have played 11th edition, how are you feeling about the terrain rules and the terrain element? Are you guys liking it? I mean, no. I mean, they it's not really cloning, but they've mastered like medical and genetics and stuff like that. So it really is it's a matriarchy by design. So I mean, every now and then they will take in like how do I say this? They will take in people for the purposes of breeding, you know, and then they just literally cast them out or kill them. So yeah, hired. If you like Doom, Hired Gun was great. Oh, sorry, I just realized I was muted. Okay. I learned to check. I'm like, hold on, I don't hear anything. So, while we let the gray hair dry, we're going to pick up the tank and work at the tank a little bit. So we still have the windows to do, and the these are going to be like their periscopes. These are going to be lights on top, and then there's the commander's periscope, so it's still a 3-person tank. And then we got to do the treads lead belcher. We get the other thing's purple. $2 liters of watered down propel should be enough for 9 hours of gaming, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think he'd be good. But there's nothing. Oh, Italians it would be coffee. But I'll say if you're playing British or something, like bringing a good thermos full of tea, you know. But as the Italianos, you know, maybe like a little thermos full of coffee. Just totally match the themes. Go full theme horror with it. Unless you don't try. I know some people don't drink coffee. I get that, you know. So, no, I think Propel you should be fine. Yeah, same thing, Cosmic. I think if I actually did play Necromunda, I'd go Enforcers. That might be the one I'd collect. I have my Extraction Squad I haven't built yet. I love them, and I want to play them. I would bring Vino if I could. I mean, up to your tournament. It's events. Some tournaments don't allow that. You know, I know some people's got to drive, and that makes it different, but... The last big conflicts event, or a conflict/bolt action game I played, I was playing with Sam and some other guys. And that's when I brought out all of my Japanese to, like, we did like a conflict 47 like Iwo Jima landing, you know, like the allies were landing, combined allies, British and Americans, and they brought fireflies with them, and they were like marching up the beach to take the island from the Japanese. And all I had was bolt action too, so but I had tanks. You guys seen I had like 8 Chihas, 2 Kamis. I mean, it was stacked, tanks upon tanks, and just troops everywhere running through the jungle. But that took us all day. We didn't even finish. It took us all day to play. We absolutely had drinks. I brought a bucket, like an actual legit bucket full of mini rum bottles, and there's a whole bunch of like cans of Coke and some other stuff, some other drinks. And we had like those little like paper or like styrofoam to go coffee cups you can get from like a grocery store. That's what we were drinking out of. Art had mech labor enforcement. I love it. All right. So let's. Oh, I just had what I was looking for actually. Where'd you go, Balthazar Gold? All right. Sorry, because I turned the lights down, so hopefully it looks a little better on camera. As well as many things I struggle with, you know. A, painting on camera. B, talking to the mic, and C, keeping the lights low enough to where it looks better on stream versus easier for my little tiny eyes to pick up. Alright, so what we're working on now is we're actually going to use Balthazar Gold to pick out the parts that are going to be kind of like treated by heat a little bit or affected by heat. So it's going to be the tip of the thrower of the Inferno Cannon. What I like to do, my 2-paint method for this, is I'll hit it with Balthazar Gold, and then I'll hit it with Nolan Oil, and that shows, you know, something that's been used either on cyclic, like a heavy bolter barrel, you know, or a flamer or something like that. Yeah, I'm really glad we did Clash of the Caribbean. I gotta get you guys those patches. I'm gonna do the video, but I really like the tropical flavor because it's so different. You know, everyone's doing Fortress Europa and Invasion of the U.S., but tropical Common 47 was such a vibe, man. It was so great. Like somebody else was talking about daughters, so I sent him a picture on Morty stream discourse about our discussion about my tropical like undercover daughters of the motherland. They're pretty cool. They had like leather trench coats, and they had like the Arnold commando style green paint on their arms and face. So same thing, yeah, I do the tips of like machine guns if they're like poorly maintained, so like heavy stubbers, stuff like that, and I'll do the I'm gonna do the mufflers as well. Yeah, so it's a STEM building. They just built it and they went, you know, balls to the wall, putting in cool stuff. But I like working on that campus because, like I said, it has a driving pad for the cops. It's got a firing range. It's got a fire tower that they're always setting on fire. It's like Hogwarts, but like cool. So what I did is I just kind of picked out the mufflers and Balthazar Gold, and we're going to go back and hit it with Nolan Oil, and it's going to show, you know, like heavily used, poorly maintained kind of. Hey, I'll give her that. How you doing? Oh God, Cosmic! If you only knew. So I was EST, and that was one of our mini missions, was recap recovery of aircraft, particularly, you know, Air Force aircraft. Like, and that sounds cool. Like C-130, it's one big metal tube. How hard could it be? No. C-17s, okay, not bad. C5 is the stuff of nightmares. Like, if you ever wanted to make like the hardest level on Ready or Not, it would be the recap or recovery of a C5 aircraft. It would be the fastest level. You could be done in like 2 minutes or like 5 minutes, but absolutely a meat grinder. What if people don't understand it? A C5, a heavy lift C5 cargo aircraft, has 2 floors. It has a main deck that's one just area with a ladder fore and aft, and on top it has rearward facing passenger compartment like a regular passenger aircraft. The middle has all the mechanical stuff you need for it, and then the front is a whole ass flight deck, including a kitchen, rooms, and that's not counting all the extra stuff in the tail. Oh my God, hard pass. Yeah, absolutely hard pass. But it was a cool mission to get attached to us because a lot of those aircraft had oxygen lines in there, and because sometimes we'd have to go in and secure them in case they got on fire, like he was saying. So after there's a fire and the crew evacuated, we used to have to go on and secure them. So because of that, we couldn't use our M4s, because our M4s had a 4-to-1 ball to tracer ratio. So we had to just do it with M9s. That's how we finally got 870s put on our TO&E. So that was kind of cool. Dumb nerd wizard eat my 50 cal. I like it. Alright, cool. So we did that. Now that our hair is dry, let's swap over and do another coat of the neon green. If we get both these painted, then hopefully we can kit bash some. There you go. Yeah, look at that. That green's kind of coming along now. Nice. Not bad. We heard a rumor that you make your own brushes out of hair. No, human hair. No, I don't. I think scalping is frowned upon. It's been that way for a while. Hair from his back. It's how, yeah, it's how, oh, Arcade beat me to it. It's how I used to lash a couple of turtles together. Yeah, I think sometimes we devolved into talking about like movies and stuff like that. If you haven't watched the first 3 movies in the Pirates trilogy, go back and watch them. We don't know how good we had it. Just solid movies. And probably one of the better character arcs I think I've ever seen is the Pirate King, Elizabeth Swann. Very well done. So let me ask you guys, do you paint all of your tanks? Like, do you paint the bottom part and the treads on the bottom part, or do you not? I mean, we know Morty doesn't paint his tanks at all, but I paint what you can see. Good man. I like your style, sir. I like your style very much, sir. Yeah, I just like putting the little electric tea candles with cotton balls on it. Just turning those on to signify a dead tank. I totally moored my tanks that are primer coated and a wash and pick out any details. Hey, if that's your paint scheme, there's nothing wrong with that. You do you, man. I can't pretend like I do more than that. You guys have seen my Imperial Japanese Army tanks. The Tiki Flage camo scheme, it's literally a primer with like 1 color stripes on it. So it's like 2 steps more than what he does. So it's nothing fancy. I was like giving him shit. There's nothing wrong with that. I want to say in 7th edition, my tanks and my Vendettas were just like my Tiki Flage, but black and blue instead of like tan and green. And then I just did like mud on the tracks, and I did scratched up dozer blades. Speaking of which, I need to get dozer tracks for these Hellhounds. Yeah, I do enjoy the people who play Soviet who go like the full Command and Conquer Red Alert style. I think that's pretty cool. I'll still have to go and pick out the treads on top underneath. That's a pain in the ass. And finish that underneath. No, I didn't say I hate it. No, I don't hate Soviet. I'm saying I always get a kick out of when people do their Soviets and they lean into the whole man, we talked about it one time on a stream before. I always forget the name of it. There's a Russian name for it. I think it's something like cranberry or something. I'm trying to remember. It's the Russian name for the trope of American movies during the Cold War that portray like those big, tall, like stereotypical Russians, you know? I think when they had like Arnold Schwarzenegger as like a Soviet cop one time, or, you know, kind of like, you know, like Big Ivan kind of thing, you know, like that very stereotypical Russian thing. They're all named like Boris and they all drink vodka. Like there's a Russian slang term for it. I can't think what it is. Apparently they get a huge kick out of it. Alright, next up, let's do a little bit more neon green in her hair. And then I think we're going to pick out the purple panels. I like this bouncing from one model to the other. It's actually kind of cool. Working on like two models simultaneously. Eight hours in the check. Are you gonna be all right, RK? Don't you need to get some sleep before your event, especially if you're gonna be driving? I worry about you, buddy, old pal. I did not bang you for 24 hours. I don't think I've ever been to anybody in the stream yet. There's also no mods in this stream either. Oh yeah, that hair's coming along pretty well. Oh, you can play shit. Like, if it's a song you can find on YouTube, then I don't understand. Like, you know, that's why I don't play custom songs here. So and also the channel's still small too, so it's easy for me to say this, but by not doing super chats or this other kind of stuff like that, you know, I don't have to worry about what messages people could, because you can just type away in the chat and I can choose to read it or not. Because there are no super chats, I don't have to like make sure I read what you say. No. Same thing with the songs. But it's also, you know, extremely small. There's like, what, 8 people in the stream right now, and it's like 800 people in the channel, so it's not a big deal. It's very small. Benefit of being a small and monetized channel, you gotta enjoy the benefits where you got them. And I hope we stay that way. I greatly enjoy our small streams like this. It's quite nice. It's like a social club, you know, kind of like a breakfast club kind of. Oh yeah, that's coming along. It's pretty cool. I found the song for the, you know, I did like those shorts for all the factions. The Soviets will of course be last, but the next one I'm working on is the Germans. I found the perfect song. It's not spicy at all. It's actually kind of a funny song. But right now I'm just trying to capture the footage and make the video of it. Cold like the middle of winter meme. I don't know. So, and again, because it's not really embracing drama, you know, I'm not trying to talk about the drama. It's just in the course of trying to understand narrative 40K. Like, as long as someone's not like wearing like actual Third Reich or Soviet stuff. Like, I don't care if you wear a Soviet helmet or like the blue striped shirt. Like, who cares? But if you're like walking around with a flag of like a hammer and a sickle in real life, you know, and I'm running an event, I'm gonna be like, hey man, don't have that in my event. Like, come on. And that's just my preference, right? But I do the same thing for someone who has, you know, Toten Core Skull or the Lightning Bolts or SS or Third Reich, and be like, hey, you know, if it's on your models, it's one thing. I don't care that much, but you don't have to dress like that. But other than that, I don't understand this whole like, you know, judging people for the minis they play. Like, I don't think every Tau player is a communist. I don't think every Gene Stealer player is a communist. I don't think every Black Templar player, you know, is a Crusader. It's just, I mean, I know some people are probably like that, but like, it's just a game, man. Because if they're really like that in real life, then they're already out there doing that in real life, and that's what you can bust them for. You know what I mean? It's just one of those like silly legal things you really got to think about. Like, sometimes people are like, hey, this guy assaulted me. You know, this guy did assault with battery, and he did it for these reasons. Insert whatever you want: culture, gender, race, religion, what have you. And then people want that to be a crime. Like, yeah, you should, you know, go after him because it's crime. I was like, well, there's already a crime. Like, just charge him for the assault with battery. So it's the same thing here. I'm not getting, I promise you, I'm not getting political. I'm not getting weird with it. It's the same thing when people like freak out for like the army you pay. Like, oh, everyone who plays this is like this, you know, or like, hey, we don't want those kind of players here. I'm like, just let them play and then judge them how they play. Now, if they walk around and start spouting all that stuff, and yeah, sure, why not? But if that's just the army they pick, like, I don't know. It just seems real. I just see that a lot. It really, because that's also when I know who wanted to get into Black Templar, and like 3 or 4 people in the store tried to warn him, like, oh, you don't want Black Templar, people are gonna think this. And I was like, let the guy pick the models he wants to paint. Like, sweet lord. No, I'm not doing Old World. I've always wanted to do a rank and flank game, but with the wife, we got a Song of Fire and Ice. We haven't played it yet, but we have it. Yeah, and again, like, there's nothing like wrong with it. Like I said, again, I play Empire Japan, like, atrocious war crimes, terrible people, and you know, like, I don't run around in a fucking with a katana. Like, I don't know, it's just, it's one of those things. I think memes are funny, like everybody else, and I think like the jokes are funny. You know, like not every Nurgle player smells, you know, but it's kind of a funny meme. But I think sometimes some people don't understand the context. It's like saying like, it's like you're assuming everybody has like a normal sense of humor, but some people just like can't separate that, and they think it's real, you know. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like they just go really far. Yeah, wait, you play UJ since when? But like I said, in the course of the narrative, like I said, I like people who embrace their faction, like especially in lore. I think it's really cool. I like fun orc players who wah really loud, you know. I do think, and I mean this in a good way, I think there's a little of you in the faction that you play. Like, not all. Sometimes people just pick what they like the look of, or what's meta, or this and that. But I like to think, or maybe just for me, I pick the force that I think kind of reflects me a little bit. You know, like there's a little bit of like my preferred style in the army I pick. I think some people are like that. Let me know if you are in the chat. I know Ginny said she picked Tyranids because she likes food. I absolutely love it. If only you had like a little Alpini. Well, not Alpini. You're playing desert, but that's super cool. I like that you're going full ham with it. Like I said, if I ever get high enough in the sub count and I go to Adepticon with Cosmic, I'll dress up with Cosmic. I'll go full 8th Necromunda guard. So I'll get like the pants and the shirt. I'll do a colored mohawk, full on. Instead of a Tiki mask, I'll probably get like one of those what were those? The Purge masks, you know, like the little smiley face and the neon. No, I get it. I think Tyranids are cool. Yeah, you go full Krieg, I'll go full Necromunda 8th. Mohawk and everything, man. I'll get some like I'll get like some fake temporary tattoos and just like be inked up from the feet up. All right, let's paint some purple on this tank. So the reason why we're doing the purple, like I said, it acts as like identifying a quick friend, high-vis friend or foe kind of identification. Yeah, just do a yellow coat. Oh my god, wear the same costume as him, but just a yellow coat and say like I'm Steel Legion. That's a lot to invest just for a joke, but it is funny. Memes are eternal, Tiki. Oh, it's Blue Steel Legion. This is what it's kind of looking like so far. We're turning those white into kind of high-vis purple panels, so it's easy to kind of spot a front. That is a 4-armed or 3-armed friendly tank. That when the day arises, is the tank you don't shoot. I'm really excited to actually get like the full 3K painted and on the table one day. That's a game I'm definitely gonna want to play. I would be so excited. 3 Hellhounds and 6 Hippogriffs. It's gonna be insanity. Alright, I should probably sleep. Gonna go get us 6:30 for chow and caffeine. Alright, best of luck, RK. If you do take pictures, definitely send them to me, man. I'd be happy to see them. We wish you all the best of luck, man. You and your Italians. I owe you a drink for every unit that your AT rifle kills. Yeah, it's funny how my love of AT rifles and light tanks carries over into Warhammer 40k, because I use Catachin heavy weapon teams with auto cannons, which are basically like anti-tank guns. And I'm using Hellhounds and Hippogriffs as light tanks. Kind of humorous. So yeah, the panels actually come out pretty well. Then we hit it with like this purple shade, and it just kind of blends it a little bit. See, there you go with those negative waves. Don't hit me with those negative waves so early in the morning, RK. Get some sleep, buddy. Il Duce is gonna need his African commander at his best. He needs a lot of things. Chiha scares me. 1 Chiha shouldn't scare you, but 2 Chihas, both on ambush, that should worry you in Conflict Pursuit. If you have walkers and you see 2 Chihas waiting for you, with the Shinhoto, that medium AT gun, it slaps. They're pretty accurate. It's like, I'm a walker with cutting-edge jump technology with Tesla lightning bolts calculator. I'm just like, Yoshi slamming another shell. Just put another medium 18 round into it. Like, what was that? Like, I don't know. It was glowing and jumping around and shit. I just shot it. I will say, playing Conflict 47, particularly 2nd edition, with like mostly traditional bolt action models, it feels good when you kill something. It feels good when you kill a Rift unit with a regular unit. It feels great. It's like Atlantis with Vinny. It's like, oh, look at this carving. It must be 1,000 years old. He's like, boom. Look, I made a bridge. It took like 5 seconds. Hey, what's up, Squid Fist? The brewery of Mashi. Don't fucking trash talk my linebackers. Dude, I have put down some linebackers with medium AT guns. It took a little bit, I'll give them that. They weren't as easy to put down as the other walkers, but two Chiha Shinhotos, man. With all the special rules the Imperial Japanese get. Or the Empire of Japan, I guess, for Common 47. Ambush your friends. I'll see you in the parking lot. Yeah, they do look pretty cool. They definitely went with a design choice for it. Now we have the 2 strips in the back. So the placement of these panels is so that no matter which way you're kind of looking at the tank, like from the ground, you can identify it. Real world, we usually put like high-vis orange panels on top of our vehicles, like helicopters and like other stuff and drones and things like that. Can see like who's who, you know. But also, if you look at like Desert Storm and Desert Shield stuff, you'll see like a certain emblem on the door or on the side of all the vehicles, so you can like tell very quickly what's friend, what's foe. I think we have one more layer of green in her hair. I think we'll be good. Hey, CB Cooper, what's going on, buddy? We're painting up one of our neophyte leaders, and we're painting up a hellhound at the same time. The fluorescent paint takes a little while to dry, so we're kind of bouncing between model and model. Sorry about that. I had to struggle with the paint bottle trying to get it to come out. I understand why people like dropper bottles, but I think I prefer paint pots. But I understand the value of dropper bottles. I do totally get it. And the advantages of them. Alright, there we go. That's her hair done. That's about, I think, like 4 or 5 coats. Oh, thanks, CB Cooper. Yeah, this is our Hellhound. It's got our Hunter Killer Missile, Inferno Cannon, heavy bolter in the front. It's weird, this black and purple paint job, it almost kind of looks like a, what is that, Noise Marine, Emperor's Children? Is that the warband I'm thinking of? Yeah, and it's got the actual like accelerant tanks in the back, like actual flame tanks. I did a so I also painted to where I can run as a Bane Wolf in the future too, you know. Emperor's Children, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, it does kind of have a very Emperor's Children look to it. Alright, so for the power weapon effect, what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of paper, and yes, it does fit through the hole in a piece of paper, Commander HHL. So we're going to take a piece of paper towel. We're gonna kind of, it also works like an old sponge too, if you have like an old sponge. Kind of ball it up, tear it up a little bit, and then what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit of Temple Guard. Ah, my fingers will spin it. There you go. A little bit of Temple Guard. we're gonna like basically dry dab it. So we're gonna get some blue on here. We're going to pat it out on another piece of paper towel, kind of like you're doing dry brushing. Very similar, right? I call it dry dabbing. I don't know if there's an official name. So it should kind of look like this. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of... There you go. We just kind of dab it lightly on there. And it kind of makes it look like, for a power weapon, like a little bit of electricity is cackling. Less is definitely more on that. It should just be a very, like, kind of subtle effect on it. Yeah, everyone's called the tank the keg hounds. I think Cosmics are. It's actually pretty cool. Now that she has that paint, he's like, new technique acquired. Yeah, Tiki's cheap trash bash style painting. Oh no, I lost that brush I was using that I really like. It's nice and small. Where'd you go, small brush? Maybe if I call the brush's name, it'll come back. Brush! Promise to actually use the brush wash I bought. Brush, come back. Well, shit, actually, I have no idea where I put that brush. A second here, Tina, let me look for it. Well, shit. Never forget the Tiki point. I actually don't have a single Hellhound. I did want to run them as a Kim Cans. Yeah, the Bane Wolves. CB Cooper. I started the Kimlar Savlog. Sorry, the Savlar Kimdog book. So far, it's pretty good. But yeah, in 10th edition, I ran mine as Bane Wolves. I ran it with the Kim Cannons. They were pretty effective against Marines, Space Marines, and the Necrons. They were lethal. I'll give you that. They're absolutely lethal. Oh, sorry about that. See, I noticed I was muted. Yeah, Savlar Kimdogs are absolutely awesome. I do love my Necromunda, and it's very similar to this, is that they all don't look uniform at all. If I had to build like a legit OG guard regiment with no like Gene Stealer fuckery to it, I'd probably do a Savlar Kin Dog one with Bane Wolves and stuff like that. Real quick though, CB Cooper, give it a Google, because I feel like it starts in the middle of nothing. And what I just looked up, I think there's it's free, but I think you need to go on Games Workshop's website and download a free ebook, like a novella, and I think it's the prequel to the actual book that you can buy, because I felt like I should know these characters. It kind of like started in the middle of like a story, you know? So just a heads up on that. I'll follow it next to the Tiki point. Because of Squid Fist, I have several Talarn Desert Raider models that I love. And when I need to add KD and Recon squads to this list for a reason, those will probably be the models I'll use. So it's perfect. Talarns are dope. I used to like their I forgot his name, but I like their officer. He had that cool outflank roll too. I'm telling you, 7th was cool, man. 7th had good lore. Again, you had to watch out for the competitive guys and the Death Stars and shit like that. But as far as like for the guard, if you can get your hand on a 7th edition codex, that's cool all by itself. Alright, we're gonna start basing Neophyte later. So I base it in Chaos Black or Abaddon Black, whatever they keep renaming it to. And then I go over the top, and I get this idea from Morty, and so I always want to give him credit. I go over the top in Astro Granite, and then when that dries, I hit it with a Nolan Oil. Yep, that's the one, Squid. Same thing, I'll give her that. I know you put the name too. So how do y'all feel about legend units? If you were gonna go to a narrative event, how do you feel about people playing with legend models? Do y'all think it's worth it? Do you think sometimes they're gonna be overpowered or underpowered? Do you think like what information GW does have on them is worth it? Or if GW doesn't have any information, how would you guys go about allowing them in an event? Would you require them to supply codex, or my question with that, Ginny, is how do you verify what rules they can have? Like, how do you bring them in line with current day rules? They need the rules for the units? Okay. See, that's one of the things I really do like about the way the Gene Stealer army is built. Is I like how some of the detachments, there's that thing where it's a special keyword, like this is a blank keyword. You cannot have another detachment with this blank keyword. That way you can't always take the most optimal thing. What I like is you can't run Brood Brother and Final Day, so you can't be, you know, half guard, half actual Tyranids either. You have to like pick one or the other. I like that. I like that not everything's a boost. You have to like give up something. I really enjoy that. I enjoy that in gaming. I feel, and it goes with the whole Tiki point and coming in right at the limit. It feels like you've sacrificed a little, like you've had to make a tactical choice before the game even began, you know? Yeah, they did. Yeah, like I desperately, like I would love to try and do an Elysian build, but not without vendettas. Because when you try and tell people about it, they're like, "How did you play guard without Lehman Russ tanks in 7th?" I was like, "Vendettas." When you're flying around with three, or technically like 6, but 3 twin-linked blast cannons, you were absolutely popping stuff left and right. And then a Vulture too, for cleaning up chaff. And this is before you could split fire too. So therefore you kept your Valks on anti-personnel, so you had multi-laser, multiple rocket pods, and the heavy bolter door gunners. And then your Vendettas, you kept them purely anti-tank, so you just ran them with 3 last cannons. And then your Vultures, depending on you how you would have ran it, I usually brought mine with the Punisher Gatling cannons and stuff like that. The Vulture was nasty against orcs. Yeah, Punisher Gatling cannon. 2 of them, actually. It's just disgusting. It has never failed to let me down. Yes, but at least it's never missed an opportunity to miss an opportunity, you know? And if you ever have a funeral, Ginny, it can be one of your pallbearers, you know, that way it can let you down one last time. A bit dark, but it's a great joke. I think we're going to do another coat of purple on the tank before we shade it. We'll come back and finish the Neophyte Leader's facing. No, but CB Cooper had 3 of them, so it had twin last cannons on the nose and then twin last cannons under each wing pylon. So you had 3 twin-linked last cannon attacks. Because for Vendettas, you had the choice of either blast cannons, or you could take these like they weren't hunter killer. They're like better than hunter. They're like a little bit better than hunter killer missiles. I forgot what they're called. I think they're called like hunter seeker missiles or something. Hell strikes. Yep, that's what they were. Not my cup of tea. I had 2 Vendettas, and they just flew around like a pair and just absolutely just started anything that looked like a tank or a monster. They just started just popping, putting last cannon rounds in them. And if you had the Death from Above book, there was a rule where if you actually brought your flyers on it, they were in an appropriate formation, and you kept that formation on the table, which is really difficult to do. They got like a little bit of a bonus when they attacked. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, I think I had 4 Valks, 2 Vendettas, and 1 Vulture at like the peak of that army. So the Vendettas use the exact same model as the Valks. It's just instead of a multi-laser in the nose, it's a twin last cannon. And under each hard point is just yeah, twin last cannons. I think there was a rule. I think you were able to carry troops in a Vendetta back then. Even back then, you couldn't. Now Vultures looked different. Vultures couldn't carry any troops, and they actually had like a vertical. They actually had like a huge turbofan surrounding the actual canopy and cockpit. So they were supposed to look different from Valkyries, but I wasn't gonna buy a full roll kit, so I just bought another Valkyrie kit and just slapped the Punisher cannons on it and just called it a Vulture and called it a day. If anyone got upset, that's not the kind of person I want to play with anyways. Like I'm not buying. I'm happy to buy the book Imperial Armor from Forge World. I'm happy to buy the actual twin Punisher Gatling cannons, but I'm not gonna buy a whole ass Vulture. Alright, there we go. We gave the purple a second coat. Yeah, and so that's what made it really hard. You're right. They're huge with huge wingspans. So that's what made trying to pull off that three ship formation so brutally difficult. Because if you messed up and they flew off the table, they could be gone for the whole game. They could crash. Yeah, there was some skill in using them. So what I did is my infantry platoons were taken up by veteran squads, and I did mine with like camo cloaks, so they got +1 cover, and I gave them auto cannons, flamers, grenade launchers, and I gave the sergeant a bolter. And then I took an Aegis defense line. I kept my Lord Commissar by the quad cannon, so he could use his BS to shoot it. I had a company command squad with a mortar in it, and I kept that in a Chimera, and that was like my light mortar transport. I had a Wyvern for, and the Chimera was, I think it was double heavy bolter with a heavy stubber on top, and the Wyvern was heavy bolter with the mortars on it. And then what I would do is I'd keep my veterans behind my Aegis defense line, and I'd keep my mortar vehicles in there. I'd make sure there's no room to deep strike in. And then I'd send out my flyers. So it really was like a hammer and anvil. And inside 2 of my Valkyries was I split my Tempesta Scions into 5-man squads. That's when they became their own army, was that edition. So that was kind of cool. So that was about my list in 7th. It wasn't super fancy. It was kind of cool because they were supposed to be like naval pioneers, kind of like Red Horse or CBs, but for the Imperial Navy, you know. So yeah, they prop up behind the Aegis defense line with like grenade launchers, flamers, auto cannons, and the sergeant at bolter just put rounds into people. You know, and as you're coming up to it, you're getting rained on by the wyvern and the light and the mortar from the company commander. And then in the meantime, you have Valks and Vendettas and Vultures just making absolute fucking gun runs outside the perimeter. Outside those Aegis defense lines. And then if you brought a flyer, you had to deal with the twin Vendettas who could shoot you down. And you also had to deal with my quad cannon that was being used by Lord Commissar. And he had a ridiculously good BS. Alright. Let's grab our Astro Granite. Yeah, it was a cool list. So they were, their uniforms were blue and they had black gear, black helmets, and what was cool is they had a stripe. They had a stripe on their helmet and on their left pauldron, depending on what their job was. So if they were leadership, they had a yellow stripe. If they were vehicle crew or pilots, they had a white stripe. If they were infantry, they had a green stripe. If they were heavy weapons, they had a red stripe. I think that was it. All right, take it easy, Jenny. I hope you had a great day off. Appreciate you making the stream. All right, so we show what it kind of looks like. So we're gonna take our little fancy GW tool, which everyone laughed at me. I say it every time, everyone laughed at me for buying it, but I still have it. So joke's on you, the value's awesome. Unlike a brush, it doesn't go bad, you know? I think it's like eternal. So our drawing right now, she's getting a little bit of Astro Granite on the top of the base, spreading it around. Then we gotta let that dry before we hit it with Nolan oil. You can tell I got some on the rim, but that's fine. Oh yeah, they're paint kits. So that's why a lot of times, particularly with that army I had, why I went with the colors I did, blue and black, and the vehicles and the Valks and all the planes, they were black with blue stripes. Because Ultramarine Blue and Abaddon Black came in the basic kits. Same thing with Bugman Glow. That's why a lot of the colors I use are the ones I use, because they're the primary colors that come in those cheaper paint kits. And I like painting with base coats because it makes it like a, I don't know, a little bit more resilient, especially to touch. I ain't contaminating my brushes. I get it. Alright, so while that dries, let's go ahead and use Temple Guard and get the windows right there for the driver and the gunner. It's also cool now. I figured I also have mood style lighting, which is actually kind of cool. So you can kind of see how the tank looks like the cool kind of like lighting. Cha-cha. It's actually kind of cool. When I'm doing my first coat of it, I don't really worry too much about getting like, especially if it's a black tank, I don't worry about getting like light blue outside of the window because I can just go back over with black and cover it back up again. You know, it's not really that big of a deal. So you can see the viewports. It's actually kind of cool. Yeah, I'm liking the mood lighting for the stream. It's kind of nice because I turned the overhead light down a little bit, you know? It's kind of nice. There we go. So once we get her fully finished, we'll take a small break. I'll add some more rum to my drink. Now I need a smaller brush and that same tipple guard because now I'm going to try and pick out the periscopes. And that, my dear viewers, is going to be a little bit more delicate. You can see the periscopes right here on top. So you can see the little periscopes for the driver and bow gunner. And it's cool, you can actually see the commander's periscope is actually rearward facing. I think that's kind of a cool little detail. Another detail I need to pick out are the power cables. So I don't want to do yellow because I'm going to have like yellow lights. I'm going to do my power cable. Power cable's blue. All right, there we go. It's getting there. It's slowly getting there, fully painted. I think we'll be able to finish her and this tank by the end of stream. It's kind of cool. So yeah, that tank, I probably won't have too much stowage on it or tank riders. I'm going to save that a lot for my hippogriff, since that's really the it's going to be the poster unit for the army, it being a light armored recon kind of thing, you know. Let's see if her Astro Bandit's dried. Nope, not quite yet, so let's keep working on the tank. Alright, so what we are going to do with the tank is we are going to use our shade. So for this, we're gonna need to bring the lights up a little bit here. As much as on stream as we can, so you guys can see this. All right. Brush. Let me grab a little bit of a bigger one. That one's just too fine. There we go. All right. And this is what we're using. We just want to kind of take this jarring dark to pastel look out of it and kind of just shade it in a little. Let that kind of sit on there. And look, you can already kind of see the difference just a little bit between, you know, this panel and this panel. Just kind of gives it a little bit more of a lived-in, realistic kind of look to it. Very subtle, but very nice. And same thing, we're gonna hit the nozzles, the nozzle of the sprayer, the thrower. We're gonna hit the barrel of the heavy bolter. We're gonna hit the mufflers. And we're also gonna hit the vent on top of the can with Nolan oil, and then we'll hit the tracks with Agrax Earthshade. So we have 3 different shades going on, and they're all kind of doing something different, you know. So if any of you watching who are loyal Imperial guard players, have you ever thought about coming over to the GSC side? If so, what kind of army do you think you'd want to take? Would you take Brood Brother Auxilia and bring some of your Imperial Guard, or would you go full Genestealer side, like Muscle Beach, or bring in a lot of Pure Strains? Curious to know what you guys are thinking about. Oh yeah, these panels are gonna look real nice when they're done. It's a very subtle difference, I'll grant you that, but it's definitely a difference. Alright, let's check and see if our Astro grain is finally dry. Nope, still not yet. That takes a long time to dry. It's the only downside to like technical or texture paints from GW. If I go an extra arm, I lead into the Genestealer and Aberrants. Ah, yeah, the Muscle Beach style. I like it. They do have cool models, like where they're walking around, like holding like street signs, like you can tell with like the concrete on the bottom where they pulled it out of the ground. That's so cool. Definitely a fan of that. Alright, now let's hit our barrel, our nozzle, and the mufflers and vent with Nolan oil. I may also hit the actual flamer tanks, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see how it looks. Oh yeah, I always like to look at this. The Nolan oil on top of the Balthazar gold for like a muffler. Usually I paint the actual like muffler part black, but not on this one. I wanted this to look a little bit cleaner, not like my work trucks, which are super neglected. I don't think that's the word, neglected. Alright, there we go. We close this before I spill it. Alright. So now you can kind of see on the tank there's a little bit of a difference where it's been Nolan oiled on the sprayer, the barrel of the heavy bolter, the vent on the keg. And then now you also have the mufflers back here. Just makes it look a little bit more, again, like in universe and less cartoonish, I guess. Alright, I'm going to take a quick break to kind of help that Agrax dry a little bit, and then when we come back, we're going to see if we can finish up the leader and then work on the tank some more.
Necromunda, breach, breach, breach. 58 Necromunda, train killers each. Lighting fast through the maze, loyal to the god and the emperor praise. Turn them Necromunda. Dream killers each. Gliding fast through the maze, loyal to the god and the emperor praise. 58th Necromunda, burning bright of the urban fight.
And we're back. Nice little 58th Necromunda song there. Let you know what we're all about. All right, and there's the results of the poll. It's actually kind of interesting. So it looks like the majority of you care the most about having a good opponent, which that makes sense. A bad opponent can ruin the whole thing. Well designed and painted minis. That scored number 2. I get that because that kind of sets the mood. You know, amazing table. It's weird. I thought that would score higher, but again, that's my own bias showing. You know, I knew good opponent would probably win, but I thought table would beat minis. But again, my own bias. And I think fun mission or cool rules was last. That also surprised me. I thought minis would be last. I thought it would turn out a little different. So that's really cool. But I 100% agree, and I agree that having a good opponent is probably the most important and the most crucial. All right, there you go. You can see I picked out the tread on the side, so it's starting to look more and more like a tank. It's kind of cool. Alright, I think I gooped it on a little thick. She still hasn't fully dried yet, so I'm just going to keep chipping away at the tank. Which is fine by me. Yeah, I think the panels are turning out well. You can tell there's a little bit of more color on it, you know? It's not just like a one-color tank. See the flame pinks on the back, the front are faux stripes. On the back, I'm going to try and get a like a white paint pen. I think I'm going to write Vice. I'm gonna write that on the back of all my tanks, you know? For Necromunda device. Right. We're chipping away at this slowly but surely. We are. It may not seem like it, but with these 3 streams during the week, that's 9 hours. We are absolutely cutting through this road to 2K. We are making progress. Plus, as a palette cleanse, every now and then I kind of turn around and do a little bit of terrain too, which is kind of nice. Okay, they're going to work on some terrain tomorrow. I found these really cool roadblocks that I like. Then they have like these like kind of built-in stripes to them. So I think I'm going to do them black with yellow hazard stripes. I think it's going to look really cool. So I'm going to try and have enough terrain to build like some really cool city boards, because that's what interests me. But I then also want to have enough to build a really, really good classic Warhammer 40k grassy knoll style board. Like I want hills. I want like rock formations, almost kind of more like a Halo kind of thing. Like imagine level 2. Well, I think it's actually called Halo, but you know, imagine level 2 on Halo Combat Evolved. You know, where you're kind of roaming around the Warthog, you know, picking up the Marines wherever their lifeboats landed. You know, and that's the kind of look I want to go for. There you go. Yeah, look at that. Looking at that tread, looks nice. Also, what tip do y'all paint the tip of your 100 killer missiles? Do y'all do red? I'm used to like Auric it being yellow for high explosive, you know? I think I used to do mine all white with silver tails. You do red? Okay. Oh, yeah, ask you guys, with my little kit bashing, is there any question, and be honest, is there any question that this is a Hellhound with a Hunter Killer missile? Does that look like a Hellhound with a Hunter Killer? Yeah, feel free to be honest. I want to make sure I'm not, like, misrepresenting. Alright, Cosmic Red. I can do red. Alright. Nice. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. Good call, Cosmic. Red was where was that, buddy? Well played, good sir, kind sir. Alright, I think she is finally dry enough to put a wash on. So you gotta be careful. If the Astro Granite isn't fully dry and you put a Nolan oil, like, it gets real kind of wonky looking. So we're gonna put Nolan oil on the actual Astro Granite on top, and then we're gonna do another cleaning up of the rim with Chaos Black or Abaddon Black, whomever black, you know, whatever color it is today. I still call it Fortress Gray instead of Mechanics Gray. There you go, there it is with the wash. And now we're going to clean up the rim. And she'll be done. That'll be one more liter. Where this was one of our neophyte leaders. You can tell Power Maul, Auto Pistol, Yellow Leather Coat. Should be one of the other ones. We are getting there. Do y'all like to do the classic Warhammer 40k rim in black? Or do y'all rim it in whatever color the base already is? Oh, there it is. Another fully painted model for the army. It only took like one whole stream, right? Or almost 2 streams. But hey, we got there. That's what mattered. Road to 2000. Alright, starts. You know, it's like that internet YouTube thing that took over the whole thing. Like, you know, one brick at a time. You know, one model at a time. One brick at a time. We'll get there. Oh no, it's brick by brick. Yeah, that's what he said. Like, oh yeah, brick by brick. We'll get there. Alright, now we can turn and focus our attention on this is a tank. So now we're gonna grab Agrax Earthshade. What we're gonna do with that is we're gonna hit the tracks. Or Nola kind of to me represents like dirt of use, like weapon oil, grime, kind of stuff like that, you know. Agrax Earthshade is kind of like the nuances of dirt and filth kind of getting in there. So that's what I want on the treads. So here's an example of what it does to the treads. So that's Agrax Earthshade, and that's just plain lead belch. Goblin green base rings. Oh god, it looks so good. When people actually do that, it's amazing. I think Irish had that on his old school Necrons. It looks so good. Made me want to get off their lawn, you know. I discovered the tomb world. Rattle 'em, boys. You're getting painting done today. Hopefully those of you who are also working on models are getting a lot done. I mean, I'm no damned Legion, you know, he absolutely cranks these things out, but I'm trying. We're trying to be productive over here. What do y'all find the most satisfying part to paint on a tank? The treads, the weapon, the camo. And do y'all only put a tank commander if there's an actual tank commander, or do y'all always try to give your tanks like little bits of character with like crew hanging out or a tank commander? Oops, almost grabbed the wrong one. That would have been awkward. Alright, there we go. I got just a little bit left to nitpick on the tank, and then that tank is done. Not too shabby. I'm pretty happy with it, actually. Do y'all think the whole keg part should be null and oiled, or just the vent? I'm kind of torn. I feel like that shiny looks too shiny, but I'm not entirely sure. Probably give it a day. I'll probably stop there and like look at it for a little while, kind of figure out like what do I think. So in the meantime, between now and I see you guys again, I'll probably be kit bashing a few more models, building some Castellans, Cadian Castellans, building some more mining lasers and Siasant cannons, filling out the squads and just painting them with one, taking the push fit models, which I don't really need to build on stream. It's just like 2 things, right? Taking the push fit models off of their head and replacing those with some cooler Mohawk and more like thug style ones. I have some cool ones from my agent box, from my operator box, and from these Mohawk ones I have. I'm actually pretty excited. I think they're gonna look pretty good. I was hoping to get a game of 500. I was hoping to get 500 painted before I had to go to my second gig, or for the term started. But I don't think it's gonna work. So we'll see. My local shop did change their hours, open a little bit later, so I'm gonna try and get a game in here once I get 500 painted. I'll try to be better about doing battle reports and stuff like that. So there's big goals. I wouldn't say improvements, but big goals for the channel. We're going to try and do things a little bit different this time around. I'm going to try to be like, I'm different now, but no. With 11th, it was a good time to kind of start fresh, start anew. Like I said, my main goal is to always play. When I go to a game shop, it's going to be my goal to play with a fully painted army and hopefully good terrain, especially painted terrain too. Or at least just not like my same old like unpainted MDF terrain. So we'll see. We'll see. And actually with that, I know there's not too many left, but if those who are left in chat, what are your goals for 11th edition? What are you looking forward to? Or what are you trying to do? Maybe it's to leave Warhammer 40k aside and go into Bolt Action Colony 47, totally understandable. Maybe it's get to know your army better, build those final models. I'd love to see it if you guys have the time. You know, drop down in the chat or in the comment section of the video if you guys are watching later on, which I'm slowly learning people do that. That's kind of cool. Hopefully it's not too boring. But yeah, put in there what it is that you want to do. What's your goal for 11th edition? Maybe it's to win a tournament. Maybe it's to get the most coveted award of all time, Best Sportsman. Maybe it's to run an Apocalypse event. Who knows? Mine, as you guys know, is to try and bring back what I feel like. I wouldn't say what 40K lost, but to try and bring back what I loved of old and mid Hammer. Not forcing it down people's throats, not saying this is the way it needs to be played, you guys need to play it this way. No, but just trying to make it a little bit more prevalent. That way people who want to play that way can. That way people who do try and like reminisce about older styles of Warhammer, it's still possible. So you gotta get your Baneblade and your Bullgryns ready. Oh my god, that's such a cool list. I hate how people are like, oh, it's not very realistic. I was like, it's absolutely realistic. Like multiple Baneblades and Bullgryns and Ogrins just punching a hole through stuff. That's absolutely lore accurate. Creations of Bile Army on the table. Ooh. That sounds really cool, Gamer Dad. I really like that. That actually sounds cool. Cosmic, I love to see it. I love to see really cool Baneblades too. I think of all the variants, I think I have a soft spot for the Stormlord. I think that's my favorite. But I'd like to see it. I haven't seen a battle report yet of anyone running. I guess you could call it like the Oakland Hello. I haven't seen anyone running like full Rattlings in a Centaur or Rattlings in a Stormlord, but I imagine it's gonna be pretty humorous. Maybe we'll see it sometime. That would actually be kind of cool. All right, with that, we got our painting goals done. We didn't fully finish our tank, but we got a lot of color on it. Even got a lot of washes. I'm debating what to do with the whole steel tank in the back. It looks good. I don't know if I want to wash the whole tank, the whole like keg on the back of the tank, not the whole tank. There you go. Get that kind of color changing on it. I think it looks pretty good. We got our chill light on. But we did get a Neophyte leader fully painted. And I think they look pretty awesome. So, with that being said, this was the final stream for the week. Like, so we do 3 streams. We do midnight to 3 a.m. And the way I look at it, because it's Easter, is I look at it Thursday night, Thursday night, Friday night. Am I saying that right? Yeah, Saturday night. Yeah, because today's Saturday. Okay, I did say that right. Best of luck. Shout out to RK. I know he went to bed. He's got his bolt action event tomorrow. I hope he does well. Him and his biggity boppity Italians. And for everyone else, I hope you guys have an awesome Saturday, kind of rolling right into it. It's already started for you, depending on where you are around the world. And as always, stay safe, stay hydrated, and don't forget to relax today. It's your Tiki time.